I've kind of came to a conclusion with has kind of fallen into place. Um, Richard Hart knows about our. I know for a fact Richard Hart knows about our group. He definitely knows about your channel. Um, and yeah, dude, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Speaking of which, Matrix,
yeah.
DM me real quick.
Who's that? No, I know. So yeah, we gotta work on making sure that we can drop alpha, but we just gotta be a little bit, like a couple days, I feel like a week behind. So I spoke with the verse too. So the verse said he wants to help break down some of this stuff with me, and he said, whoever you need recording or anyone that wants to live stream it while we're doing it, feel free to. So he's the only other he's the only other person that I know that has more insight or equivalent insight to what I know. But he also gave me some pretty interesting, you know, he told me like some things that was like he's like, yeah, dude, you're good. You have it on. You pretty much cracked the code in a different way. He's like, you fucking blew up, which was you know. But he knew who I was before I became PRC20 Trends because I was already on the case with GeoRig. So whenever he followed me, it was like November, December. He followed me really early on. I was like, yeah, he knows that I know. I was like, he knows that I know because he had some videos where he talks about more of the in-depth stuff of like what happened really early on in the chain. I went the whole Spark route. My whole thing was Spark, SDI, the relationships between them and connecting the dots. He went the other route, and then he dug deep that way, and we both reached the same conclusion. And then Nine Iron had his own way of looking at it, reaching a different conclusion or same conclusion but another route. And that, I believe, that's because RH has about 7 different ways to which this can work out. But I think at this point we're to the level of it's going to happen. They haven't even started the phaser yet. Whenever that code is hit on, the whole fucking blockchain is going to be moving so rapidly, and there's going to be so much value being thrown around. It's going to be crazy. And like they have like an explosion, or there's an explosion event, there's a rain event and a fire event, and they all do the same thing. Like some is like the rain event is like kind of sprinkles across. The fire event's a continuous stream kind of, and then you have the explosion where it's just like big bursts of value getting thrown out. But he makes it seem and sound like a fucking arcade game. And then that's whenever I read this thing called the world bonus, and it literally states the world bonus allows you to collide with something else, meaning wrap an LP and revert it back to the real world. Otherwise, without the world bonus, it leaves the world. So whenever I talk about wrapping tokens to a certain point, and then all of a sudden they disappear or they don't allow you to do it, you have to have the world bonus. The world bonus is whatever Atropa did, because that's why Atropa was able to wrap to 414, and then I believe Sunny got it too because Sunny was able to wrap to 414R. So either you can only wrap a token that has reached the world bonus, or you have to reach the world bonus to be able to wrap that next pairing. That's why he said build what I build. So that means, someone go out and build, get the world bonus, and then get the so we can wrap 414 so now we have 414R, and then we might be able to do a 414RR or whatever, to where you can wrap another token with it. And then technically what we'll be able to do is have 414, which is 8 tokens, and then be able to wrap it with another thing that's called like whatever, we can 818 that has 8 tokens inside it, and then pair those together, and then you have 16 tokens inside one LP, right? So I think, and then ultimately what you're doing is you're just making the chain stronger and stronger. And that's only that side of the world that we're working on. It's not even the pulse side yet, technically. We're tying what essentially they're trying to do is tie them together. The easiest way to do that, in my opinion, would be just get ink involved. Just have everything come back to a level to where you get ink, and then ink is pulse and pulse X, and then pulse and pulse X, pair to everything else, very much, or pulse itself pairs to everything else. So yeah, it'd be pretty interesting to see. And then just the way everyone else in the whole system is attempting to do it anyway, right? Everyone's making their, kind of doing it in their own way, but just making pairs, right? It's as simple as just making a pair. is what seemingly just touch all the certain tokens and make pairs, ratio them out a certain way, and it seems like that's the quote unquote world bonus. But yeah, I got to dig a little bit deeper into it to find out like what exactly it is. But I think if I just mimic, if I'm building on top of Sunny, I'm mimicking it to an effect. But I plan on also like those tokens that are inside the bonds that to make the bonds, like some of those tokens, like some of the tokens that Sunny didn't touch, are some of the ones that I'm going to also use though, just to see, just so we can make sure we kind of we catch them all, because it's definitely team related. I mean, you can't do it by yourself. There's no way. I can tell you right now, Maria did not sit there and launch 200 and something tokens by himself. Um, so I think that's why he said build what I build, and then I mean the whole aspect of this chain is working, pairing and working together. So being able to get that world bonus is, could be what leads you to get onto layer 2, right, or the second level, whatever that might be. But there clearly is another level to this game, and so we were right about that. There, like what it is and how it all works, no clue, but it definitely exists. Now it's about hunting it down and trying to find it, and then bringing value to the network and bringing value to you guys. When I was speaking with some people, there was like they didn't know I was launching the tokens. They just thought I was trying to, like, the whole idea was to kind of blow up. I didn't think I was going to blow up this big, but I also didn't know that I had a mastermind behind me that knew how to make me, like, that literally knew how to make me go viral. So that helped a lot. So I owe a lot of it to Two Naked in general, because he knows how to make things go viral. He's done it multiple times in different scenarios, so he's got a lot of experience. So really, hell yeah, dude! I didn't know that. I don't know. I know that he knows me, but I don't think he knows knows me. Like we've held conversations before in the Blastar chat. Well, no, he showed up because I was there for like 2 or 3 days in a row, and the price went from 2 million to around 7 million, and then I kept hanging out in there. Then I stayed there until I reached all-time high when I sold at 25, 22 million, and then I sold. But he was showing up. He was showing up in the chat around 17 million. He's like, "What's going on here?" It's like, "Oh, we're just chatting, man." It's like, "Oh, okay, okay."
What went
and then
viral?
like
I kind of suck at social media. I just cut in real quick. What went viral?
There was a clip of me talking about how he didn't buy the top, how he actually pretty much took a leverage play out against the top.
Is it on Twitter?
Oh yeah, there was like 20,000 views or something like that.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Oh, did you post it naked?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah.
We know by then.
I'm just gonna see if I can find different sizes in these. Yeah. Because they're like, yeah, dude, and they loved it, man. Because people were just kind of confused. They didn't like. They all were all talking shit, thinking that he shot. Yeah. Down. Yeah, dude. They were all like, they were upset. Like, I get it. They have every reason to be like kind of pissed off. Especially if that's the way everyone else is telling them. Like, he shorted it. He shorted the stuff. Like, what? And then when I explained it to like Axis and them were like, holy shit, you're right. I was like, it's not really a short. I said, it's just, we did that to go viral. He's like, well, it's fucking worked. And then, and then, and then whenever I explained it, since, kind of broke it down, explained to them, he's like, oh, it was like a leverage position. He leveraged himself because if it did go down, he would get less SDI. So this way, if he bought the top of the ETH, he technically would leverage himself. If it goes up or down, he would have been in a position of, a positive position. So he loves teddy bear. Hell yeah. That's what's up. That's actually really good news. Yeah, because we actually, I know some of us are, some of us, I think, what's his name's kind of, not, I don't know if he's close with him, but he's in his, like, one of his services, like his little paid service or whatever. So, like, oh, okay, cool, you're Sky too. Yeah, hell yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I figured if B Roots has a subscription model, I can have a subscription model. I'm just kidding. I like B Roots. He's been right. He's been right since day, he's been right on the money with, I mean, I don't know exactly what he knows. I think he probably knows just as much as I do. But definitely keeping it, tight-lipped. Which is the way, I was just, like I said, I was just trying to catch, get the attention that I needed for the time before we launched and got everything rolled out. Because, you want people around, you want people hyped, you want people paying attention to you. And the only way to do that is by doing things that are a little bit maybe unorthodox, so to speak. But exactly, we are. And like people can say whatever they want, but at the end of the day, like, hell yeah, that's what it is. It's like, it's PvP, baby. It's me versus you. And if I can scream louder, faster, and a little bit longer, everyone, even if they don't understand, they'll listen. It's just because the passion, the excitement in my voice alone will just get them to listen and get them fired up. And at least asking questions, because that's all I ask. That's the whole point of that. It's like, look, if y'all think that I'm wrong, go out of y'all's way and do the research and prove me wrong. Like, please, I want to know where I can look next, because I can't do it alone. So that's why I made the group that I did and invited the people that I did, because they'll go out and hopefully look into it a little bit more or prove me wrong. There was one dude that toasted. He was talking shit about Hex on there, and I was like, bookmarked. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and bookmark this. And I said, dude, in 2 years you're gonna regret every second of this, because I'm going to slam this all over Twitter, because he's all cussing out Richard and stuff. And it was all planned, man. Like, from, I mean, he didn't tell anyone to sell their PHEX. He just said the market chose. Then what is he gonna say? Looks like the market chose wrong. Like, that's all it's gonna say. That's what it's gonna say when he's like, "Oh my God, look what's back to life." Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there literally is a $55 million sitting inside that wallet of Wrapped Hex and Wrapped ETH. So from Binance. So it's from right, right, like WeChat. Yep, hell yeah. No, I hope so, because that's gonna be, it's gonna be, yeah, it's got to be where I'm gonna have to continue to, because like, even if we don't get a lot of people listening right then and there, like, the views that we still end up getting are over 1,000. So so we're still yeah, some of us roll into 1,500s and up to a couple thousand. So I mean, it's definitely worked out in our favor over time. So hey, I'm excited about it, man. But yeah, I can never say I couldn't do this without any of you guys. That's right. Yeah, I did. There is one. Yeah, I just have to see if there's what kind of price difference there were. But yeah, I took them off. There's one for this one. I can go find that other one.
What was wrong?
Sorry, guys. I'm having to return some clothes that didn't fit. I came out to buy dog food yesterday. I grabbed a T-shirt.
Alright, so all you owe me is $7.83.
Cool, man. Nah, I'm trying to get it. Let me see if I have my card. No, I was actually losing weight. I was losing weight, bro. I was stressing out on the rig, dude. How much change?
783.
Okay, so I was supposed to use the card. Yeah, man, that was killing me, dude. Like literally eating me away. I'll get better. I mean, I'm not
No, bro.
stressing like I once was.
Good for you. Fasting? That's good for you.
Well, technically, I guess you could call it fasting. It was more or less just stress related. I couldn't eat. I just didn't have time. I was always working. I probably lost like, I don't know, 15, 16. Good. I don't need the hang. One second. Yeah. Thanks, man.
This is the vampire known as Mr. Jack Levin. He was the 21st Google employee.
I was sitting out
He
there
is the creator of Zen.
The job was
when
killing
Pulse
me,
Chain
man.
first went live,
I
he launched a project that ran the gas from 8,000 beats to 2 million beats.
Zen break Pulse Chain would be hilarious to see.
Been doing it for so damn long.
From Jack says should be easy.
So right at launch, Pulse
and then
Chain
I
was
felt like my boss
battle-tested.
was setting me up on the last,
losing their shit.
the last place
Malicious.
I was at, just trying to get
He
me
is
run
not
off
anybody's
because every
friend.
little thing that,
Sneaky backstab.
even though like I showed up and I like literally showed up, went from one job right to another job, and then I had to send out a fucking report, and I sent out the report and I used the distribution list that the guy working days made, and he on the distribution list he added an email that wasn't supposed to be on there. So then I got yelled at because I used the distribution list that he made, that he told me to use. It was like literally there for only 30 minutes. I was like, why are you yelling at me? Like, I'm always busy fucking trying to please other people. And that's not like, those people are not the people I'm trying to please. Like, I don't know. I want to help out the people that I actually care to help, not fucking some dude that's making 8 figures and shit. Like,
looks like it paid well, though. Nice, nice.
What did he tell me to do? He told me, no, his ass, he said, don't be on your fucking phone doing your crypto stuff and da-da-da-da. Fuck you, man. I make more money doing this than I do sitting here. Like, and now he's been reaching out to me, like, what are you doing? Where are you at? I was like, not here. Listen to your ass. Yeah, no shit. Well, he knows that he knows that I lost a lot of money. Like, I made a shit ton and then I ended up losing a lot. And I just kind of told him about it, you know. And then I started making it all back. He's like, why are you needing to go back to work? I was like, man, I just need to work X amount of days. And then he was okay with that at first, and then he started calling me back more and more to where like I was out there for 45 days and 50 days again. I was like, I'm not doing this, dude. Like, he's like, well, I'm gonna, you're not gonna keep your job. And I'm like, man, fuck you, dude. Like, stop threatening me like that, dude. Like, I hate that, being put up against like a dog in a cage type thing, like literally putting me in a position to where like I didn't have time to go look for another job. I didn't have time to, like, there was one time I told him that I had a fucking interview the next week for a job, and he literally called me that Sunday and like sent me somewhere. So like I missed the interview.
Have you ever done rideshare? You could like you could be on call or something and do rideshare if you're in a city.
What's that mean?
Like deliveries.
Yeah,
like
okay.
if you're I'm
actually I'm pretty near I'm near a big enough city that probably would use it.
It'd be kind of like if you have like a decent low MPG car, I mean it's quick to get into it and it's kind of easy self-employment. You don't really have to, you just write off your miles.
Right, smart idea. Man, I'll just get on a motorcycle, bro.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what I'm fucking traveling with. But yeah, dude, I can definitely get something with low MPG. I need to downgrade anyway. I don't need.
But where's your group at? How do I join that? Someone was saying it was like $90. I mean, I can
yeah,
do
I
that.
mean, that's whatever. Well, I mean, yeah, someone like you, man, whatever you can afford. It's. I'm not, some people paid a few hundred. Some people paid. Yeah, it's just like it averaged out to like 150. I don't know, something like that. So far, so yeah, I'm not just trying to make it fair so people can join. And I'm not asking. Some people, like I said, if they're an OG, I just like send what they can send, and then like some people are just kind of spreading it out over a couple of payments. With them, that helps me too, because then I don't need all the money all at once anyway. I need the money over time. So
yeah, is there a monthly? There might be one-time entries and then monthly entries.
Yeah, I mean, it's however you want to do it, man. It's like I'll keep track of it all. I have it all tracked, and yeah, it's just to help me get off the rig, man. I mean, it's nothing more than that. I don't put too much thought into it. If you can afford it, you can. If you can't, it's all good. I'll still give people the invites and things like that and do it. So yeah, I'll shoot you a DM and we'll chat it out, and then I'll get you the invite and I'll get you the address.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, mainly it's just because it's the $10 a month model, right? That's what everyone, like from the outside, they're paying, but they're not even going to get that access. They're only going to get access to like the regular stuff y'all already get access to. So they just get to come into the TG, get access to all the little groups, and then like probably weekly AMAs, or maybe bi-weekly AMAs, depending on the type of hype that's going on. And then y'all are gonna be grandfathered all into that anyway. And then y'all also were just given the option to, if y'all wanted to, move to a little bit more select group, to where y'all, where I'm ranting on like I usually do, but it's just like more like don't say anything outside this group type thing.
Yeah.
Like I do have an NDA. I don't think I've ever posted it in there, but I do have that ready. So, but yeah, man, yeah, no worries. I think everyone that's in here is pretty much in it. But I do appreciate all you guys that have done that. I mean, y'all really gonna help me out with that. So yeah, yep, I'll get you in there, buddy. Give me a second. I know, yeah, I think everyone in here is in there. And like inside there, dude, like, when you're invited, you can DM me at any time. You can get one-on-one calls with me, bro. Like whatever you want, you know what I mean? You can just a little bit more access to me.
Yeah, I got to get my fiat on ramp up and running again. I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm wondering if Coinbase is better. Everyone's been saying USDC off Coinbase to ARB to the bridge.
It's the easiest way. Or Binance. Binance is through the Spark bridge.
I still have Gemini. Would Gemini be like the same as Coinbase, or maybe just like?
Just like it. I mean, you're still using that centralized entity to just get it in and out. I mean, I use Cash App to Bitcoin to Bitcoin through Coin Change Now, and then Change Now directly onto Chain. So unless you want your bank account attached to it, I don't want my.
Gotcha.
I have my bank account attached to my Cash App. My Cash App buys Bitcoin at all-time highs, and then I sell it into shit down here at its lows. Nice. So then it actually looks like I'm losing money because I bought Bitcoin at all-time high, even though I'm buying the bottom of the surge.
That sounds like that sounds like, I mean, there might be like slight fees, but it's not.
Oh yeah,
like Ethereum fees.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna pay probably $16 to move $500 at the moment. I mean, maybe $16 for $500. So.
Okay, well, Coinbase, I think you'd only get $1 ripped instead of that 16.
Coinbase is definitely cheaper. I just
there's no KYC on the Cash App too. Probably.
Correct. No KYC doing that. Well, no KYC through the atomic swap. So. Okay. And you can still buy. I'd probably need to set up a new way to do it, but I literally haven't had to on-ramp any fiat in a while because my crypto stays in crypto. My crypto stays in crypto, and I only fiat on-ramp. And when I do, it's like a couple $1,000s at a time. because I don't leave any money. I wouldn't leave any money on a centralized exchange if my life depended on it. So it just kind of keeps me from getting comfortable with doing that, because that's how I got wrecked. I had money in Celsius and shit like that. So should have listened to Richard.
Nope, right. I mean, Coinbase is probably safe, but it's still,
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I think that they are safe. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, they're probably, the fact that they're getting sued by the SEC and everything like that, it makes me think that, okay, we're all on the same boat now. Like, everyone's talking shit about Richard getting attacked. No, scammer this, scammer that. It's like, okay, now how's it feel when your shit starts getting attacked? Doesn't feel too good. And how do you? And the fact that we're. Go ahead.
I've heard people like complaining that they can't get their money for months and years off of Coinbase. They can't get a response from customer service. Yeah, they're not even safe to leave your money on. Don't leave your money on Coinbase.
Yeah, there you go. So, but I mean, as far as an on-ramping, I mean, maybe even look into crypto.com or the Kanga exchange, Kanga. I might have some insight on that, so that might be looking into.
I can tell you how to on-ramp. It's there's a company in Australia called Caleb and Brown. They're the largest broker.
Can you drop
They're the best.
Links?
What?
Can you drop some links? Yep, I can hear you. Drop some links for us.
It's really easy to spell. Caleb, CALEB, and Brown.com.
Awesome. Okay. And then you
best people. Yeah, they have like $500 million in liquidity a day. They're expensive for trades. They want 5%, but that's because they're extremely reliable. And you can ask them for 3.5%. Just tell them Micah. Or you know, they're not going to be like, not all the brokers are going to know who I am, but just make it sound like, oh yeah. I was told that if I ask for 3.5%, I can get it. And all you want to use them for is just getting money in and getting money out, and you're going to pay 3.5% for that. But the reason that's cool to me is because you can cash out $100 million if you want.
Right. So yeah, I would definitely use them to get money out of crypto. 100%. That'd probably be the way to do it. I just haven't had the need yet to have to completely like cash that amount. I've cashed out $7,000 one time to pay for my truck, and that fucking hurt. But it ended up being the very top of that call. Like, I sold the top of that fucking token anyway, and now it's dead. So it was actually worked out in a sense.
Let me ask you something. What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think Richard Hart's going to wait until Bitcoin tops before he starts injecting our funds into the ecosystem? I know we're not supposed to expect anything, but he's talked about it for years.
Yeah, he's not going to inject any funds until they have enough DAI minted, because he has to use his funds to continue to mint DAI. So he's going to inject funds once we reach $1. Like, we're going to have to peg first before those funds are injected. And they're technically, I think they're already kind of being utilized and injected. The bots are extracting value, so we really don't need him to inject any money, because over time, this liquidity that's being minted will fill the gap, which is great. So he doesn't have to inject all those funds yet. And then whenever we peg, he technically will have reminted all those funds back into existence. And he probably owns a lot more funds than we think.
So let me ask you this: Are we looking at, like, are we going to be floundering while the rest of the altcoins just rip?
Yeah, and then it's going to be the exact opposite. But while they're ripping, the altcoins were tied to them. Like, we already have them we already have their copies, right? So if they rip, that means eventually whenever we peg them, because they're all going to reach parity, man. The chain that they were sitting on was designed and is designed for those coins to reach parity. So they will reach parity. It's a question of when and liquidity. And all he has to do is match the liquidity pools up with each other. And in some circumstances, he doesn't even have to do that because of the way that they utilize their oracles. And then the proposition of utilizing you're not minting out of thin air, you're minting with backing behind it. like real world assets behind it, such as like Hex, right? Using Hex to back it, or a version of it like wrapped Hex. So yeah, it's going to be massive.
Rig, it's Gooner, mate. How you doing? You well?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Can you check your DM when you get a chance, mate? Nothing particularly urgent, but there's an update, dude. So just have a look at it when you get a chance, mate.
Yes, sir. I'm looking at it right now.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, give me about 10 minutes, and I'll get you a good little response, and I'll read all the way through it. But from what I see right there, that's 100% correct.
Good.
I mean, that's what you should be doing.
Mate. I
agree with that. Yeah, we might drop a little bit of some of that P dye down and throw it into the one at the bottom, not the very bottom, but the one up above, the third one from the bottom.
Gotcha. Okay, mate.
Right, because of what I just said, because the Hex I think is going to end up playing a vital role.
All right, buddy. Yeah, no worries. So, whatever you think.
Yeah, all good. No,
just let us know, mate. Give me your wallet address, and then we'll sort it all out.
10-4, man. I definitely appreciate it.
Cheers, Chief.
Awesome. Yeah, I had to reset my computer, so when I get back, I'm picking up one more thing from Walmart, and then I'll be back on my PC, and then I'll knock it out for you. What are the prices? Oh, I know, man. Yeah, I know. We've known Gooner's probably one of the oldest guys that I've known in this space. Like literally. Yeah. Thomas is right up there too.
Been through it together, I'd say.
Like all of it. I mean, we've literally just chased
the highs and the lows.
God damn everything though. So yeah, it's kind of crazy that I'm happy that we're still here. There's a lot of people that. Not a lot, but there's definitely some people that have kind of washed up just because it just times get tough.
Yeah, well, I'm 100% here, mate. Always will be. So.
Oh, I know, and they are too. But I mean, in essence, if they could be, they would be. You know what I mean? But it just sucks that they can't be a part of watching what's unfolded so far, because it's been pretty incredible from where we came to where we are now. It's all been worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that's some of y'all guys. I think y'all all knew that from the get-go. It was just more of like a timing thing, and just the right pieces fitting in at the right time. And
timing feels so good. I was hearing the SEC thing might get cinched up on the Richards side of it in like October 24th is when there's a big conclusion, maybe.
Yeah, so there's something happening in November, but his case was filed for dismissal by his lawyers, so they're going to read something around that time, and then they're going to say no, we don't. They're not going to accept it, and then it's going to drop the prices again. That's why he did that. He's going to make sure everyone knows that he did not win that dismissal, and make it publicly known that he lost the dismissal. That's why he's tweeted it. That's why he did that. That'll be probably the last shakeout. And it's right. We're only 19 days away from being the 1-year anniversary of the launch of Pulse Chain. So, and that would literally be the 52-week mark that he's been eyeing at. And I think that's whenever explosions will happen, probably right around that time.
What's that new shakeout that you're saying? He's gonna
Richard's gonna. Yeah. So what he did was he said that his lawyers have filed for the case to be dismissed. So in November they're going to announce the case was not dismissed. So that's going to be the last little bit of FUD, because they're going to be like, oh, okay, he's going down. And then November he's going to by November everything's going to launch up in value. There's going to be no one that literally sacrificed that's going to be down in any value unless they sold. And he's going to walk in there.
Yeah.
But he's not going to, I don't think he has to show up, but I've been told by some prominent Hexicans that he is going to show up with his dick in his hand and just say, what scam? Everything's up. What are you talking about? Mic drop.
Take the next.
I wonder what the worst that could happen is like the SEC tries.
A fine. You're talking that he raised $1.4 billion, and they're going after him. They're going after him for like $8 million, bro. Like literally $8 million of money that was spent out of a private wallet address, And honestly, if he goes down, like, this is fucked, because he's using private funds out of a private wallet or personal wallet for personal things. Like, what's the point of a personal wallet if you can't use it for personal things? It's like, even if he took the money and he threw it, like, used it at a party for all the Hexicans, right? Like, what boss doesn't do that for client, where, like, for people? And technically, where he's not even a company. So not only is he not a company, they're talking about his alter egos. Like, the whole thing seems just so, like, so, I mean, they're going after his mom too. Like, his mom's been kind of in like harassed in a sense.
Weird. Yeah.
So, well, they want him to play ball. Like, West Travis Street. They didn't, you know, they want USDC had, you know, he kind of has control. He's kind of got them by the balls, but, you know, if they fucking, you know, start fucking with family and stuff, and he's so, you know, in another country, it's like, what,
yeah,
how much, you know, so, but from what I heard, you know, that's almost over. She's going to be okay. It's not nothing like crazy. It was just like a lawsuit. It's like a suing kind of thing out of nowhere. And then it looks like that's about to be buttoned up. And it seems like
if they did something crazy, how many headlines that would fucking capture?
Exactly. Richard would become a martyr. Exactly. So they can't do to Richard what they can do to other people, because Richard is so loved and adored and hated. Yeah. So where that
he's just real. He's just real.
He's the perfect front man for this op. And it is a psyop. It literally, I mean, look at the way that he socially engineered Hexicans to meet and hang out with degens, right? It was a predetermined fate to where they would hate PDI, and we would hate them, or, you know, at least laugh at them, going like, what are you talking about? And then have them open their minds to where they would have to start listening to us, because it's like a handshake. Like, there's no PDI without Hex. There's no Hex without PDI. Like, that's the utility of Bitcoin. The greatest utility of Bitcoin is the fact is that every other currency is being able to be backed by it, and its sentiment and its value, right? And if Hex is the equivalent of the Bitcoin of Ethereum, you know, then, and he even tried to copy it over. So, like, not only is it like actually a better Bitcoin, but he literally tried to move everyone's wallet address to Ethereum from Bitcoin for free. Like, hello. Like, he literally tried to give everyone the opportunity to move their Bitcoin. It might have been locked up for 4 years or whatever, but at the end of the day, like, that's the whole point of what he was trying to do. And then from the stuff that I've been reading, like, it seems like they already have the concept, and they already have the testing that has been done with the XDNA chain. That was a hybrid model, proof of work, proof of stake, that used Hex as the model. I don't know if it was like real Hex itself, but there was also a mining model that was called Hex, which is where maybe the whole Hex came from, or they took the name Hex from that, or
turn left, then turn right.
Or there's actually the way that Hex is, maybe Hex is immutable code. Shut up. Maybe Hex's code itself does have the ability to be mined both ways. We don't know that, because you can read the code. You can't copy the code, but we also know that it's a really heavy type of code, to where it has to be stored and loaded in this S function, in this S load function that most things don't use. And that's why the gas is so expensive to unstake and stake Hex, because it's using all this other stuff that, you know, other tokens don't use. So it might have been actually being mined, you know, just in the background the whole time. It just had this function to it. Just no one accessed it, or had used it, or it didn't, you know, wasn't going to be utilized. So now it's either MakerDAO's new token is going to be like wrapped Hex, or a version of it, or it's going to be Hex. So that would be insane, right? Like, imagine MakerDAO's liquidity and value getting turned into and getting put into Hex. Like, think about that.
The ETH version of it?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
That amount of liquidity, we're talking, yeah, like 500 million. That amount of liquidity hitting the Hex contract would send it straight to like $1, like over $1, like $5. And then at that point they'd be able to mint more PDAI, because the market cap would go to fucking Bitcoin level, like trillions.
Yep.
Yeah,
There's so much craziness.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, I hope that's not. I mean, sometimes I have to almost hope that that's not the case, because then I get my hopes up. But it's like, we know that MakerDAO's changing their thing to a new coin, a new stable, a new token. They're gonna have this token that fluctuates. I mean, what if technically Hex is the new stable? I mean, it's definitely going to be used to back. We know that wrapped Hex is already being utilized, because no one ever got any wrapped Hex. Like, whenever you staked Hex, you didn't get anything in return for it, and he did that for a purpose. So right
ETH
now,
is the wrapped Hex.
Everything has wrapped Hex. I mean, there's wrapped Hex on our chain. There's wrapped Hex on Gnosis. He literally moved wrapped Hex from ETH to wrapped Hex on Gnosis chain. Like,
okay, gotcha.
900 million. So 1.8 billion Hex is sitting behind Chainlink right now, that has Chainlink pegged to $15.44 on their chain. They're already utilizing it, because it used to be called Hex on X, XDAI. So yeah, the XDAI chain used to have its own was literally just its own little version of DAI. And I think that was its testing ground, another proof of concept type. Happened, same kind of things happened over there, was as well, as far as like tokens and this and that. But they didn't send it to just like 2,000 wallets. They sent it to 3.5 million wallets. Like, everyone got a piece of this. They made sure that it was going to get labeled and called a scam, because Gnosis is like, it's a pretty heavy duty chain. Like, it's kind of they're kind of known for security, like, Gnosis is. So I think that they play a pretty vital role in it, and that's also where Spark launched. So hold on one second. Sorry about that. My earpiece died. It's all good though. What were you saying, Frosty?
Oh, nothing. Just listening.
Oh, okay. All good. But yeah, like Hex on XDAI, and then eventually, I don't know when. I need to look into it more. But this is a lot of the stuff that I uncovered was on Gnosis chain. Like, it's like, it almost seems like they have private layers built up and into it. So I think Gnosis, and like that's where Spark launched too. So it plays a bigger role than I think most people think. And it's also, they're also like, the next place Spark is launching on WorldCoin, that the chain for WorldCoin, which makes no sense. People to use DAI. A lot of people are in WorldCoin, and if they can get DAI over there, you're starting to get, more and more people utilizing DAI, and the more DAI that gets utilized and gets adopted on more chains, the more that the AI itself would be like, okay, y'all guys can mint this much DAI now, because y'all deserve this much liquidity. Because I mean, in the stock market world, like, market cap and liquidity go hand in hand. Can't really move it around, but the version, especially, that's what makes blockchain so beautiful, is that being able to, I mean, and they wrap things in the real world. They have wrapping. They literally have the exact same term for stables, like the stable, literally wrapping things to protect it. The more that it's wrapped, the more protection it becomes. So it's like wrapping a wrap. Like, it's just something that they do in the stock market, but it's, they do it in a more fractionalized, dramatic fashion than they would do in cryptocurrency, because cryptocurrency doesn't allow you to under collateralize anything, right? So like if we were gonna say take stocks and bonds and put them in the crypto space world, like they would have to be over collateralized. So like if you put $400 million worth of something in, you would only be able to get out like and move around like 300 million. It would have to be over collateralized. And that's the same way with like LUSD and all those stable coins that work in backing everything in crypto, Compound, all those lending protocols, everything has to be over collateralized for the code to work.
Because would the centralization save the under collateralization of stock?
Well, I mean, just the fact that it has to be over collateralized, like the code itself would keep them from being able to manipulate anything. So like say if you took 400 million, you try to take a $400 million loan, they only give you 200 million. And then all of a sudden that stock drops 30%. And now that instead of 400 million, it's worth 300 million. At a certain point, that stock would automatically sell in a either at or right above a profit before it would liquidate you. So you would be, your stocks would get liquidated. And then the profit would, so that's technically how they would be able to make that work. And then the way to onboard it is quite simple. Like instead of having to take, fiat, where you take 100 million fiat and you have to give them 100 million of this, which is then putting debt because there's no actual value behind it. Like if you take a stock, they give you one of it, and then you could give them 300 of this. So it's like works in a backwards fashion. So there's not a bunch of random, unaccounted for value coming to the chain, because there's actual real world value sitting behind those stocks and bonds, because they can be sold, liquidated, and then technically you could start backing them with currencies, with cryptos. And I'm sure that there's companies that and you wouldn't even be a stock, like they would literally be a company that launches, and their whole thing is like, we're going to launch as a cryptocurrency company, and then the AI itself would study its its losses, its gains, and then predetermine this, like, okay, you can put your pre-sell out at this price, you can start here, this is what your sells were, things like that. And then they would never even have to wouldn't even have to touch the stock market per se. They could literally just operate in the bounds of cryptocurrency. And then if they have the private layer that we speak of, I mean, maybe that's a solid option for a company. Is even being able to do all their private stuff, do all their transacting between there, like their payments and their methods and interacting with other companies. And then, as far as the public goes, then they have a public layer that they could, interact with, and that we can interact, so we can buy into their stuff. And it's all public knowledge, but, they still have that layer of security, so to speak, with it being a private chain, because there is utility behind that. So having both is could be key, and it's definitely the future. I mean, is that what we're doing here? I don't know, but it definitely feels like there's some kind of outer world. I mean, it literally talks about it in the code. Reaching, your tokens disappear to the outer world if you haven't got the world bonus yet. So, which seemingly sounds like when you have the world bonus, you can operate in this dimension and in said other dimension. It's wild. I was reading it out earlier. I think I copy pasted the code somewhere, but yeah, it's just like, but the way that he writes his stuff, the Phoenix Labs itself is hidden as a game. Like it makes it sound like it's a video game. But if you read about it and you're reading it and you know a little bit about code and a little bit about liquidity pools, you're like, holy shit, these sneaky motherfuckers. It's like, this is literally how liquidity pools work, and exactly how this balancing of liquidity pools work, and why they're running.
Where would you eat on Phoenix Labs? Where at? Okay,
so yeah. So you can literally go to GitHub, and you can look up the name Sam McPherson, the founder of Spark, and he's the owner and founder of Phoenix Labs. So yeah, he does everything that you look up. Is literally like arcade this, game this.
So that leads me to /Hexanaut, I think.
Yeah, Hexanaut. Yeah, so look up Hexanaut on GitHub, and you'll find it, and you'll see all of his code, and it literally. And then if you look up Phoenix Labs itself, dude, it sounds and looks, and its front page is a video game, and it's like, we'll update you soon, like, and then it has a picture of like all the guys, but it doesn't tell you their real names, and then it has a picture of this chick, and and then the chick's name, like Majania or something like that. I'm like, huh, that's our pretty little Maria. There she is.
Oh, no way. On the I'm looking up. So on the GitHub, what's the backslash?
Yeah,
so github.com/ I think
hold
Phoenix
on,
Labs.
1 second. So I didn't look up Phoenix Labs. I literally went to Sam's profile.
Okay.
Let me see.
Yeah,
I have GitHub. I'm about to drop it in the chat. Boom. This is like. Right there. Let me know when you got it. I'm gonna delete it out of there.
Yep, I'm good.
You got it? I'm gonna move to the other group. All right. Copy it. I'm deleting it. Yeah. Good. 1 second. I'll get you. Yeah. The real Maria. They're not the Maria. The real Maria. The real. Yep. Yes, I know. I'm telling you guys that the people that are, and she's like, you get a house, you get a house, you get a house. So yeah, no, it's like they're funny about it too. Like not only are they like changing the world, like they have egos, and like they're like one of their things that they're using is this thing called ego knots. It's like the dude's name is Hexanaut, ego knot. I'm like, huh, sounds familiar. And then it's like it's all predetermined, man, and like has been some of this code that I'm looking at right there has been 7 years old, man. 7 years old. Like the launch of Ethereum type stuff, like that's how old some of this stuff is. And it was probably used to fork Bitcoin back in the day, some of this code, you know what I mean? Like, but some of the newer technology that Richard had his hands on, like the Ether Hex, like that's whenever I was like, oh, Ether Hex, huh? Not Ether die, but Ether Hex. That means something, you know, like literally using hex as die, because there's no everyone else uses, you know, it was like Ether Hex or Ether die and then Spark die. And when I found that, I was like, interesting. So really kind of all roads are starting to lead one direction, and we're definitely onto something to where, you know, they were just like, just slow down the release of the information that you find, because you're just, you know, I think honestly it's a lot for anyone to handle anyway. Like it's like too much information. So if most people can't grasp it, it's like, you know, 1% of the 1%, you know, inside crypto. They like a lot of y'all do understand it, but it's just like it's a lot. And then there's some that just, you know, it's like, I don't know, but it sounds good, Rig. That's cool. That's fine too. I just, you know, I mean, I'm totally immersed into what I'm doing. So that's just part of the game, I guess. But yeah. But whenever you hear someone say that, it's just you start thinking about it. You're like, yeah, maybe I do stay glued to this a little too much. But at any rate, it's the whole point of it is to help change lives, man. The reason why I stay so in tune and so plugged in is so, because if you're not up front running it, if you're not front running it, you're getting front run. And if you're not sharing the information, you're just being greedy. Because then what happens if you're wrong? Then you're just wrong alone, and you just get wrecked. At least by sharing it, you have other people, you know, either agreeing or disagreeing or looking into it, or so I think that was the whole goal of this, right? I think the whole goal of it was like brothers in arms type thing. And I think that's what Richard wanted, because why else design it this way? You know, they hated PDI, but they'll come to love it because it's part of the whole strategy here. Just like with Hex, Like, we're like, oh, we're too late. And he's like, no, you're not. Here you go, guys. Now you have a chance to buy it at this price. You're talking. And then dump. Like, he didn't tell them to dump, but they dumped it, you know? So, but it's kind of like, but he also knows that, you know, he wanted and then who bought it? Atropa. The Atropa dev bought it. Why did they buy it? Because they already held a bunch of it. Why did they already hold a bunch of it? Because it's going to be utilized for something. You know what I mean? Like, and then if you're going to inject a ton of liquidity, you want it to be injected at the lowest price possible. And if you if you have a bunch of non-believers who are already mad at you, thinking that you're not doing anything, what's the easiest thing to do? To piss them off or to make them dump? Shake them out. How do you shake them out? You do exactly what he did, right? Like, you pretend like it's not, like it doesn't exist, like there hasn't, like, and all he said was pretty much like, you know, looks like the market shows. There's nothing more than that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is going to kill his own coin, but that sounds quite the opposite of what the conclusion I'm coming to. Like, I'm more bullish on it now than I ever was. And the whole ecosystem, honestly, because a lot of my stuff's been, got validated by other people from outside. Yeah, so it's like piecing together the information, and then coming up with some of my own concepts, and then hoping the puzzle kind of unravels in front of us. But that's all we can do is, you know, work together and try to achieve the impossible here, cracking Richard Hart's brain, and you have to adapt. I mean, I don't know how many times I've had to kind of backtrack a little bit. Not many, but enough to where I'm sure my sanity's been questioned at times. But that's okay too. That's the easiest way to shake people out, right? Act crazy. So, but yeah, I mean, if that was hidden behind a game style type thing, like, that just makes me to believe, like, that stuff that I talked about earlier, all those other companies with the name Pulse, it's like, leads me to believe that those are all they just need to be pointed at the right APIs, and technically they could be utilized as well. That remains to be seen. That's highly speculative. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. It's so weird. The Haxi phaser, and then it does eventually take you to IO.
Yep. And it's right there. I mean, it's all there. I mean, it's a great arcade looking game. I'm sure it's plays really well on the blockchain. I mean, and they might be a gaming company. They might, drop some types of gaming functions, but it seems to me that there's some cool stuff happening, and the fact that it's been planned and pre-planned, and and it seems like it's already in motion. So I just, and we're not going to just release stuff same day we talk about it. We're kind of, people. I mean, I hope you guys understand that. What we're talking about in some places, need not be spread too far, too wide. Just be happy that you know it. And there's way more going on too that I have dropped. There's all the stuff that I'm sharing is nothing that I haven't said before. I just ended up being right about it. So it's not like it's new information. It's just the fact that I was just indeed like pretty close, if not spot on, when it comes to some of the guesses that I had. Because I was looking into Miss Maria at the very beginning because just her resume fit the profile of someone that should be doing what she's doing. Ex-Aave, ex-maker, worker, and then Spark forked Aave, Spark's part of maker. So it would make sense. And then the way she did a great interview, super smart dude. Like the way that she talks and the way that some of the quotes that she has is like she's a community builder. Like she knows how to like get communities and build them. Like, and she talks about building a technology that people can trust, but they don't quite understand, can go viral. And that's how you really, really get shit to go, like get the popping. And once I read that, and I was like, what? I was like, that's what a tropa is. You know what I mean? Like, it's a technology that we trust, that we can't quite understand, but it keeps us coming back. So it has like this sticky feel to it. Like, the one thing with crypto that no one can get right is stickiness, right? Like, that's the one thing Pulse Chain does have. Like, there's a stickiness to it. Like, to the communities, there's a reason why we keep coming. Like, y'all guys keep coming back, and there's no token here. You know what I mean? Like, this is just us chatting, having conversation, and completely speculating on what could be without an asset. I mean, there's other tokens in other communities that don't even have this many people in a VC, and their tokens probably sitting at a $3 million, $4 million market cap. You know what I mean? So, and that was honestly, that was the whole idea for doing what I'm doing. Go ahead.
Maybe things can be sold better in that sense. I'm just thinking it's like when someone tries to sell something, it's like that you put it out there, but if there's a product that you go to your friend's house and be like 10 years ago and be like, man, you can just get this on Amazon. It's so cheap, blah, 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 blah. And then products like word of mouth is what ends up selling them. So this kind of maybe falls into that category then too.
Right. Well, yeah, it's just like, you know what? The product is the community. The community is the utility. It's as simple as that. The building of the ecosystem will work on its own, right? The bots will do that work for us. The taxes, the things that it collects, and the rewards that it gives, that's automatic, right? I'm just taking concepts and just using a little bit of applied game theory and the fact that I got a stand-up community behind me that's going to hold. And then there's only one direction things can go. And then since we're pairing and going to be paired with assets that rise, again, it's only one direction that goes. So, you know, using the velocity of money and just the law, Murphy's law, what could go wrong, will go wrong, but Metcalfe's law, the value of any network is the number of users squared. And then the Pareto principle, which is the 80-20 rule, or the fact that the square root of any number of people are the people that usually provide the most value, whether that be the most work or bring in the most money. That's the kind of leverage you have to use, because those are literally laws or theories that have been proven time and time again. And you see it all the time. I mean, it's in sports, it's in everything. The most people that scored the most goals.
So Rick, what made you name the group Don't Play Frisbee in Freeway?
Don't Play Frisbee in the Freeway? Because whenever I used to wait tables, there was a guy that left me a tip one time, and the tip was, don't play Frisbee in the freeway, with a $100 bill.
Yeah,
well,
that's cool.
I'm going to send you a picture right now. This is what pops up on Thing. When you type in Frisbee and Freeway, and I'm just going to show you what video that is. It's it's actually the funniest thing ever. Cause like,
I'm genius, I know. You're welcome.
No. You're far beyond genius. Let's just look, because you see that, and then look at this.
Maybe that's what he wanted me to do. Maybe he meant for me to go Google that shit. He didn't tell me that on the tip.
Just read what that says.
Hold on. Where's it at?
In your DMs.
Oh, okay. Do you think someone went back and? Because I've had this
just you have to watch the video too, because you know what? Like, it's so funny. What happened when Richard threw the money, the Frisbee, aka the sack funds, in the wrong direction? Everyone said, "What the fuck, Richard?"
I heard that. That's funny, dude.
Isn't that so funny? Frisbee and Freeway.
Dude, that is totally relatable. That's funny. You're wondering why I said that. Oh, yeah. He throws it right at the vehicle.
Right across the freeway.
It's right into the. That's why you don't play
Buddy's
frisbee in the
advice.
freeway, man.
I hop in the group. The first thing I think of when I see that video, when I see that title, I'm like, bro, that's like the fucking video. And then I search up frisbee and freeway. That's the first thing that pops up on Google. So I'm like, all right, I'm not stupid for thinking that.
Yeah, that's funny, dude. Yeah, that's actually.
I was gonna hop in and just be like,
what
the fuck,
what did Richard do with the stack funding? Yeah. He throws it on the freeway rather than
freeway. What the fuck, Richard?
Here, post that. That's hilarious. Dude, he chunks it too. I remember one time we threw a rake at an 18-wheeler. That didn't turn out very well. Don't mess with guys with 18-wheelers. Those guys are just straight up G's. They're literally waiting in line to get there. What are you doing? Yeah. Sure. Waiting in line. Sorry. Nothing makes me angrier than a Walmart worker staring at my receipt. Like, all these people are standing in line. I walk through the other way. I'm like, it's against the law to do that. I don't think people realize that. Profiling, totally against the law.
Yeah, the actual like application, like you're not supposed to check the receipts. You're supposed to greet people.
Yep, they're literally readers. They're not fucking receipt readers. They have no. It's like that's first off, that's invasion of privacy. I'm sure. Second off, I'm sure there's other laws that are being broken there.
And third off, your credit card information is literally on your receipt. Yep. So like,
and then also like, yeah, you're consenting to it by standing in line and fucking showing it to them. So then it's not against the law at that point. But yeah, they can't tell you to hey stop. But they can sure shit.
Also, if I was fucking stealing something, you're like a 90-year-old man. How the fuck are you gonna notice that I stole something? They're not.
Yeah, I've been accused of everything.
Right. Yeah, I went to. That's like maybe a county away from me, and their door greeter is a nice way to put it, a small person. So how are they supposed to do anything if they, in a situation? You could just hop over them. I mean, that's horrible to say, but
right.
The gust of wind from the automatic doors. She's just like, all right, make way for the wind.
You can literally just hop over the guy like you're in Mario.
Love me some Mario.
Hey Riggs, I got a question for you. If you put on your crystal ball hat a year from now, what does the network look like?
The network, a year from now, a year from today.
Yeah.
We're sitting at fuck, man. Man. We're looking at right on the brink of 100 billion DAI being minted. I mean, literally right at it. The new chain probably about to launch, if not already launched. The value of the network probably reaching that of around Cardano a year from now. That's at least a 9x in Pulse's price. We're looking at PDAI being pegged, most of the PDAI being pegged. Value continuing to flow to the chain, and spiritual growth in between, and mental fortitude. Because it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be ups and downs. It's not just gonna go straight up and all glory be. It's just not gonna happen. There's gonna be peaks and valleys and twists and turns along the way, and we're just gonna have to adapt like we've always done. If you don't adapt, you die in this space. So it's not like I'm trying to contradict myself whenever my theories change or whenever my concepts seem to be changing or fluctuating. That's just because one little piece of information can change everything, and You know, I think Richard is probably one of the guys would be the first one to tell you that's what he's had to do. Whenever he went from being, you know, the Richard of old to the Richard of now, being nice, being the quiet, you know, kind of quiet behind the scenes, but not really quiet, you know, still. So I think the court case is also over by then. The court case is concluded. Does he take the fine? I assume so. I mean, I would say in his case, if I was in his case, I would just take the fine and walk away. But he might stand up and fight it, because then he could set a precedent for a lot of this stuff. And I think the SEC bit off more than they could chew. I think he set them up in a way, like he wanted them to attack him. Shit. Yeah, I think that we're all sitting, as long as we're holding our bags, we're all sitting around smiling at that point. And that's just a year from now. And then, you know, I mean, it's only up from there. But I mean, you know, there could be hindrances, but at the moment, it seems like everything's on autopilot, and that you can tell that from Sam's tweets themselves. Just his enthusiasm has me, you know, super excited about things that are happening, whether or not he's here or not. Like he said, whenever he tweeted me back, it was irrelevant about Spark being launched on this chain, because Spark already exists on the chain, and it's controlled by the guy that controls Maker. And he didn't directly tell me that at all. He just said, you know, look at this Article 8, Section 9, and it says, you know, whoever controls the Maker core can control the Spark core, not the other way around. So, yeah, I think, and then by then we know, you know, Phoenix probably is going to have their. I mean, we find out about the more about the Maker token that they're launching, more about the Maker token that's their fluctuating stablecoin that's going to be pegged to $1 for a year. But I think it's still going to fluctuate, but you're just not going to be able to tell. So there's just going to be them being able to kind of test that theory of a fluctuating value asset. But yeah, there's still a lot of unanswered questions, but the value of the chain will grow. People will continue to come. Communities will still be here, and yeah, hopefully we're launched by then. That was a joke. Yeah, I'm not really good at forecasting the future, but I can just hope that I'm healthier and happier. I'm already a happy guy. It's just I want so badly for all of us to win that I'm willing to sacrifice. Well, especially when I'm out on the rig, because I'm having to do multiple things. So I'm blessed to have a community that's willing to look out for me until the time comes, because that will only drive me to work harder and give me more time to do things like this whenever I usually am not able to sit in a VC at 2:30 in the afternoon, you know what I mean? So, and then I'll probably be here all day. But yeah, man, I'm super excited. I think everything happens for a reason. I think everyone meets for a reason. I know a lot of people that are here that continuously show up, don't speak. They just kind of sit in the background and they stay quiet just because they want to, you know, be a part of it. And I have no problem with people hanging out, and just some of the most active and reliable people here are the quietest ones. And that's awesome. Like, and if they know that if they ever needed to reach out, just shoot me a DM or tag me or anything. So, you know, just I'm here. I'm an open book to a certain point, and then other than that, you know, I'm not this way in real life, which is really weird. I'm more of a, you know, listen first, speak later. But in this circumstance, it just feels like me sharing what I have is beneficial. So that's why I do it, man. Because it brings out a side of me that I love to be.
Yeah, you're taking the Richard model. You're taking the Richard model. I don't think he's that opinionated behind closed doors. I think Richard, when he gets out in front of people, he's very, very opinionated and speaks his mind because he really wants the best for people. Yeah, so it's almost like everyone got to step up, right? And let us and each one teach the community, and you know, share what we know to help the next man up.
That's it, man. I mean, that was kind of the whole goal, because I knew that I could go viral with the information that I had. It was just like, how do I do that? I'm like, oh, I know exactly how to do that.
I get loud and I get passionate, and it'll work. And it did. And now I can take my foot off the pedal and let y'all benefit from the launch before I put my foot on the pedal again, or I don't even maybe not need to even do that once we launch. You know, it might be to the point to where I kind of sit in the background. So when the dev does, when rig shows up, it's a bigger deal. You know what I mean? Like a little visionary act. But all that stuff works. It's just, you know, where's the dev? He's sleeping. Dumps. Then you show up and pumps. But I've never had the opportunity to grow a community in a bull market or on Pulse Chain. So the communities that I built and the communities that I targeted were specifically BSC because they did not know about Pulse. So I never went out of my way to target Hexicans or target Pulsicans, and that was all on purpose. That was so whenever I did come over here, they wouldn't know who I am, but I'd be a loud voice and I knew what I was doing. So it would just went hand in hand. So I would have a strong base, a strong community that already backed me, that already cared about me. So it sounds like we're like, whenever new people come in, they're like, what the fuck? Like, so they all know each other, or like, what's going on here? It's like, yeah, you know, like me and Sponge really close. Me and him will get into arguments sometimes and people get uncomfortable and we're like, well, look, if no one's going to challenge me, it's got to be Sponge. Someone's got to fucking contradict me, got to challenge me. That's Sponge. So we get into arguments sometimes and people think that we're like mad at each other. It's like, no, he's just like my little brother. So that's literally what I look at him as. So we look after each other. That's just the way it's always been. So yeah, just blessed to have that type of